Welcome to the B2B Legend Show by Oneflow. I'm Josephine, your host, and on this show we dive into the stories behind some of the legends in the B2B world. Each episode we chat with industry leaders to explore their journeys, challenges, and insights. Today we have Wilma Eriksson here, co-founder of Vloxq. We'll dive into her journey and talk about the importance of control over numbers, challenges in entrepreneurship, and the future of sales. Hello everyone, today we have Wilma Eriksson here, co-founder of Vloxq. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a really pleasure.
I'm so excited to get to know you and also get to know your career journey. So let's just dive right in. So if you can kind of walk us through from the beginning and how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And that's a really weird journey, I would say, to be honest. So it started with me being a true horse girl, in love with horses and show jumping. Also an A student, but I'm unfortunate, I would say, rebellion at heart. So I moved from home when I was like 15 years old, very peculiar. And then I combined like working in stables by going to high school like all the normal kids did, and did that for a couple of years. And then I actually moved to Denmark and worked as a professional rider. Who does that? But I did. And then, very unfortunate, I had a back injury. That's what I thought back then. It was like, oh, sad, I couldn't go on with this. And that was the only thing like I knew of. But I'm super grateful for that today. So to wrap it up a bit, I became a personal trainer instead of like going to a great college, have a great education, or like you should do. So my son Edward today, he will not be able to have this choice that I had. I will force him to study much longer than I did. So I worked as a personal trainer several years, and then a friend of mine, actually one of the first employees at Upsys, now acquired by FSC, he told me like, Wilma, you are so stubborn. I think you should work with sales. And I was like, I don't think that is a compliment, but I will take it as one. So, and I had been selling like horses, sausage at golf clubs, clothes as Dressman, well, a Nordic retail brand. So it was very close to my heart, and personal training also includes a lot of sales. So I started very early on in a company called Viraya. They are still around today, very nice to see. And I started with their founders. So I always worked very, very closely with founders. I always dreamed about starting my own company, but please out there, before you do, call me and I can share my stories why you shouldn't, even though it's today very rewarding. So I become a sales rep within SaaS. I would say the terminology SaaS wasn't really familiar. You didn't use that term back then. This is like I'm an old soul. It's like more than 15 years ago. So what happened then, I worked with sales in a couple of years, different B2B SaaS solutions like ERP, CRM, and so forth. And then I actually decided that I have to like broaden my perspective. So I studied at a school called IHM, like a business school. So now I'm lucky it has the same, how do you say, like a candidate. So I could study on, but I really hope that after Vloxq journey, I don't have to study anymore. I learn too much every day, to say the least. So, well, I actually worked as a partnership manager at GetAccept, and my old friend and mentor called and like, hi, you know that idea you called me about a year ago? It's so boring with the pandemic. Shouldn't we just start that company together? And I had just bought a new apartment with my new boyfriend, now currently my fiance. So he has stayed. Thank you, God, for that. So I told Andreas Granstedt, his name is, and said, like, Andreas, my therapist have told me that I have to sleep on things. So I will shut down this call now and I call you tomorrow. And he was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then I looked to Richard, my fiance, and said, Richard, I'm going to drop my like dream employment at GetAccept, and I'm going to start my own company. And I was like, okay, sounds great, love. I'll support you. So so I've been like selling everything that's possible to sell, it feels like, in the B2B ecosystem when it comes to sales and ERP. And unfortunately, by heart, I'm a true hunter. So that's who I am.
So, love it. So a lot of different, like personal trainer to sales to
Yeah.
partnership, and now you have Vloxq. I'm not gonna say long journey, but a very like a packed
Messy.
journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But looking into kind of the early stage of your career, you said that it was kind of like you just on a not on a whim maybe, but you just kind of jumped into sales. But what really made you want to stay? Because I've talked with a lot of people and they say that it's like, yeah, I just ended up in sales. But they do fall in love in different stuff. So what did you fall in love with sales?
Very good question. I think, unfortunately, I would say I'm a little bit of like addicted to the thrill you get when you like book a meeting or close a deal. You know, I love that. A little bit addictive to that. I would believe, and it's. I mean, this is an old one, but it's quite similar to sports. You know, the devils are in the details. It's very goal oriented. You can measure your results, and I love like when you develop yourself and become better and learn more. So that is one my strongest driving forces, and I would assume, and I feel like it's very closely combined with sales. Like you have to improve all the time, and I've also always chosen roles that I feel is tricky, so I have to learn all the time. So I would say a combination of it's very similar to sports. You have that goal orientation, the devils are in the details, and you can just improve all the time. And it's quite tricky. You know, the market changes, you sell different things to different people in different industries. So, and also that you learn a lot when you have so many dialogues with different people. So maybe a bit fussy answer there.
No, it was great. And like during your time where you were like particularly in sales, was there a like a typical mistake that people did that you saw was like people making the same mistake again and again and again? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a funny story about this. So I was selling CRM, marketing automation, and BI system back then, and integration. So it's a lot of things. And I mean, I worked at a CRM company, and every Monday we had this, you know, sales stands up that you should have, you know, walkthrough of your pipeline. And then one morning, I was obviously quite tired and a bit frustrated. So I was like, "What's your problem, guys? Why don't you just update your pipeline like every Friday before you go home for the weekend?" I mean, it takes like 5-10 minutes. You also get this like comfort, like, yeah, it doesn't look that bad. That case is nice. And oh, I actually have a lot of first meetings booked, you know. It gives you like control of the situation, or in combination with like, oh, okay, on Monday I have to focus on this, you know. It gives you like a confidence. And I mean, we were selling a CRM. So I was like, how hard can it really be, you know? And the sales manager was like, thank you, Wilma. Thank you. Yeah, that would be good, everyone. So I think to have control over your numbers, because everyone has a weak link. And that is also the bit, as we say in Swinglish, the tired link to sports. I mean, it's the lowest link and the link that isn't as strong as the other ones that you have, that will actually define your results. So if you are controlling your numbers, it will become super easy. Like, oh, I'm great closer, but I'm a little bit struggling with this or that. Then you can focusing on improving that section, and then the overall result will become much better. So to me, it's like, I mean, if you don't have control of your numbers, you have no idea what you should improve, and therefore you leaving it out of control. So
stay up with the numbers and keep control. Yeah, that's a good one. I want to move also a bit more into Vloxq. So you started that in 2020, was it right?
Yeah.
But what was the reason behind it?
No, so the reason behind it, I would say that me and Andreas has been he founded the companies that I've worked for, more or less, a few of them at least. And we have seen this problem over time, very typical, like entrepreneurial, like you see a problem and you feel frustrated about it, and also that you see an opportunity to do something about it. So we didn't really know what to call it, like a price calculator, product configurator, or something like that. So what we had seen over in Andreas' case, like 20 years, in my case, like 15 years, we have seen people struggling with huge spreadsheets that they can't implement in the CRM tool. So they ask their sales rep to move outside, someone should maintain the spreadsheet, or they actually send the sales rep to the ERP system, or they have huge amount of money putting into an IT consultancy firm. They're going to build something that will be also that very tricky to maintain. So so that was like the idea, that we saw that, okay, not every company, depends on your business model, but typically if you are manufacturing or developing your own products or SaaS solutions, and you also have like add-ons to it, so you are like a reseller, but I don't think you define yourself as a reseller, but your product complexity is quite hard, and you sell in different markets, you have different discounting rules and so forth, it becomes very quickly, as one can hear, super messy and also very risky. So we decided, okay, let's do something about this. And then actually, when we had decided to start, but I hadn't terminated my employment yet, so sorry guys, GetAccept, so sorry for that. Then we launched GetAccept as a app in App Exchange for Salesforce, and some of the sales rep was like running to me like, Wilma, do we work with Salesforce CPQ? And I was like, all these buzzwords into sales. I mean, please, could we just stop it, you know? And then I called a friend at Salesforce and was like, hi, Carl, CPQ, what's that? And he was like, no problem, I'm gonna show you. So he showed me, and I was like, oh, okay, me and Andreas are founding a CPQ company. So we didn't know that category when we founded the company. But now we know much more about CPQ. I'm sure we have yet things to learn, but I would actually dare to say that we are a little bit of experts now.
And as an entrepreneur, you've been on this journey. What was one of the kind of most unexpected like hurdle that you encountered?
Wow, how much time do we have? 5 minutes left or something. Well, I was obviously very naive, since I had been working very closely with like 5, 6, 7 founders. I wouldn't say that I fully understood them, but I thought I knew much more, at least, than what I actually did. And me as a person, I'm a very like high achiever. I take the business very seriously. I've always felt that even though it's not my company, I work at it as it was, and I felt, I mean, I'm more or less always have a lonely wolf role, if you will, within sales, like being a little sales team and a high achiever in that. But boy, was I wrong. You know, it has, I mean, founding your own company has so many more challenges than just the business itself. So what I would recommend, without going into so many details because it will take too long time, that if you really want to found your own company, you can't get that thought out of your mind for like 5 or 10 years. It doesn't have to be that long. Then you have to ensure that your cap table, that is to say how much everyone owns, is in balance, because that is what I would say like the biggest shock, how much that could influence and how that could affect actually then the daily life when you're working at the business. So well, don't do it, first of all, and then if you have to do it, ensure that your cap table is to you fair.
Awesome. And what is one of your strongest memories from your career?
Strong. Well, I would say I love celebrating things. I mean, everything that could be celebrated should be. So like all the, you know, trips that I went with colleagues, great customers that just love the things that actually bought, you know, all the time of joy. I would say that is what I remember the most and what keeps me going, and really want to inspire other people. I mean, it's so much fun working within sales, and it's also actually fun running your own company sooner or later. So just to remember, I mean, you do have a process. you will succeed if you really just are passionate enough about it, stick your head down and do a great and hard work. And don't forget to celebrate. The often the better.
Love it. I agree. Celebrate whenever you can celebrate. I feel
Yeah,
like that you need to celebrate more. Yeah, love it. And now I want to shift focus and look more at the future of the sales space. So are there any trends that you are particularly excited about, and how do you think that they will evolve in the next 5 years?
Very peculiar maybe. I'm not so into like tech. I'm not so interested in our product. Of course I am. I mean, I'm the CEO of the company. I must be interested in some extent. But I love our vision, like to make life easier and free up time for fun by making computers do what a human shouldn't. So what I feel most excited about, I mean, the AI trends, needless to say, of course, they are both scary, but they also come with great opportunities. And from my point of view, you just always have to adopt to change and embrace that without being too naive and don't see the risks, of course. But I mean, think just 10 years away back, how hard it was to work with sales. You didn't have like tracking. You had a lot of things that we take for granted today we didn't have back then. And now we can like see when someone opens something, we can have a summarization and a full email script just when we end the meeting. I mean, there's so many things that helps out. So I will just stay with our vision, you know. I will be able to do the things that I love the most, like talking to people, meet people, even further, and have more time for that, because all the tools out there will improve, become smarter. And I mean, I was at Inbound last week, HubSpot Inbound yearly fair in Boston, and it was a little bit depending, but like 20 to 30% a sales rep actually talk with customers. And we have seen that number over years through Gartner, because it's so much administration. I mean, please, I don't think we have those numbers in 5 to 10 years. And that I feel is very exciting. I mean, who want to update their CRM? I don't.
Yeah, let the computer do that so you can focus on really selling. I think
Yeah.
that, yeah, love it. And where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
I'll probably be at Vloxq still. I mean, it takes more time than one could ever imagine to accomplish things that you shouldn't be able to accomplish. I mean, it's just to see the statistic of new started companies and so forth. But I mean, we have something good going on. We have a great team. We have some couple of beautiful logos and really, really happy customers. So just stick to it. As I said earlier, keep our head down, continuously doing the great work. So if I'm not the CEO at Vloxq, I'm sure I can contribute in any other way.
And before we wrap this session up, I like to end it with a few quick questions. So whatever
Scary.
comes to mind, just spit it out, basically.
Okay, I'll try.
What's one habit that you think has contributed to your success?
Discipline. I have a lot of discipline.
Nice. And who do you learn from?
The greatest person I can find in that area to really be inspired. So it's a little bit depending in which area. Like when I'm a mom, I also always call my best friend, because she should be like the moms of every child out there, you know. And then when it comes to like marketing, I reach out to Frida R&B and also leadership and so forth. So like the best one I know in that area.
And do you have a recommendation for a book or a podcast for someone who wants to develop in their career?
Yeah. I think it's a bit old now, but when it comes to sales, I learned a lot from the Challenger Sales. I like that a lot. And I also believe that just listening to podcasts with people that inspire you, you always, I mean, get more inspired, you learn stuff, and that again in different areas. So maybe podcasts of people that inspire you, and that book of sales. I really enjoyed it. It has helped me a lot.
And lastly, who do you think should be in the next interview?
Who do I think should be in the next interview? There's a girl called Soya at HubSpot. She's a really good sales rep there. She is a part of their, what they call presidential club, very American, like time after time after time. And she actually are responsible for the Nordic market when it comes to mid-market size companies. So I would invite Soja. She's great.
Nice. I will definitely check her out. Awesome.
I can connect you guys.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Well, Wilma, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing all the knowledge that you have. It has been great listening to.
Thank you for having me. Great opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to not miss future episodes. See you in the next one.